Yes. What's happening, people? Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's blessed. Yes, it's a new day. It's a new week. It's a new month. And you know what time it is, man. Me and Kate are back again for another review. This time around, I mean, on a personal level, this person or this artist is definitely one of my favorite UK artists right now. He's a very talented individual. He goes by the name of Kojey Radical. He just released his second studio album, Reason to Smile. I mean, I've been waiting on this one, ever since his last project, which was called Kashmir Tears. Yeah, that was released in 2019, and I remember I was just having a conversation with Kay just now, and for that year, that was my favorite project. So ever since then, I've been eagerly anticipating his next release, and yeah, he's come back again with his second studio album, Reason to Smile, and obviously me and Kay, we've had our own listening session to the album, and obviously we just want to share our opinions and thoughts. But yeah, before we get into the proceedings, I'm gonna need everyone to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. You know what I mean? You know what time it is. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
Yes.
So Kevin, this is Kojey Radical's second major album release. The first being Kashmir Tears. Obviously, before we dive into Reason to Smile, did you listen to the previous album?
I only heard I Can't Go Back. I remember you showing me that record, and I love that record, but I've never gone back to actually listen to that tape fully. So this is the first time I'm taking in a full Kojey Radical record. Though I am quite aware that this sonically is quite similar to Kashmir Tears. I remember listening to it, but when I mean like a proper listen, that probably means that I'm trying to take in the album, so I've not done that. But it does have quite similar sort of sounds, or at least ideas in terms of sounds to Kashmir Tears, this album. So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll definitely say that. And I think CB Kojey is you know, his journey has been very interesting, even though obviously I haven't been following him for a long time. You know, I first came across Kojey probably at the back end of 2018. And then obviously I started listening to his stuff more after I came across Kashmir Tears. And I was pleasantly surprised by what I heard from Kashmir Tears, because yeah, the previous stuff that I heard from Kojey, even though it was like a small sample size, I was like, okay, cool, this guy's all right. Similar to how I felt about Little Sims in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's all right, but yeah, like he's nothing special. But then as soon as I heard Kashmir Tears, I was like, whoa. It's just like when I heard Little Sims Grey Area, I was like, whoa.
It's the improvement, isn't it? It's the
yes,
the upgrade in production. I think with Kojey Radical, he went from being independent to being on a major label. Probably the budget and the resources now he's got is probably much bigger now than
and he's kept like Kojey is very he's very conscious.
I've got that from this album.
He's and obviously I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, innit? But for me, he's like the male version of Little Sims. Do you understand?
Okay, yeah.
Like that's who I'll kind of compare him to. Like there's not many UK rappers, yeah, that can spit on the level of Kojey, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like he's definitely one of the most underrated MCs / rappers in the UK today. Like his name doesn't get mentioned with the likes of Dave and obviously Huss and Stormzy, yeah. But make no mistake about it, like Kojey deserves to be in that conversation. Obviously, he doesn't have the commercial success of them, man. But as a rapper and as an artist, he definitely needs to be in the conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like he's extremely talented, fam. Like there's not many better rappers than him in the UK.
Yeah.
Which obviously you can hear in, on this album, Kevin.
For sure. For sure.
And obviously getting into the album straight off the bat, man. What did you think of it?
I like the album. I think it's a very good album. It's an album, like I was saying before, it does obviously sonically follow quite similar to what Kashmir Tears, but we do get, what can I say, sort of soul, funk, and hip hop imbued into this album as well. With also, I think one of the records as well, he's got like a little British or like a grime flow to it. can't remember which record it was as well, but it's quite eclectic in its taste, I would say, as well. And we've got you know, topics from, you know, dealing with fames to, you know, to being a, you know, a black boy growing up in Britain as well.
Yeah, depression.
Yeah, depression as well, mental health. So and also you know, being a father and then dealing with relationships as well. So all of these things are embodied into this album, which I think it's a very good thing. Yeah.
I think this album is narrated very well as well. Like in
Okay.
I think
This
it's narrated
entirety.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, because obviously it links into, like, even just look at the album cover, yeah. Obviously there's a picture, like there's a picture of his mum. Yeah. So obviously his mum is standing, like Kojey it seems like Kojey is sort of
above
being
the water,
ascended, ascended into the sky. And then obviously his mum is looking over him, and then he's got, I think, his son in the corner there.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So I feel like from this album, the two most important things to Kojey, in Kojey's life is his mum and his son. Do you know what I mean? And again, you can kind of see that from the album cover. So obviously, I think he touches on those type of topics really well. And also, and I know there's, like, in the beginning, like the first track, I think you hear his mum.
She narrates, sort of coming from Ghana and coming to England. And how that was for her, you know.
And how that was for her and how difficult it was. Do you know what I mean? And obviously for a lot of us, Kevin, we can kind of relate to that.
For sure.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because our most of our parents, you know, migrated into this country. And obviously one of the main reasons for them doing that is for them to and to obviously eventually start a family and give their kids a better life than they had. So right off the bat, like I was drawn into the album because, again, obviously me and Kojey are from
Ghana, Kumasi.
We're both from
like,
So obviously bro, like when the mom, do you know, is when the mom started speaking to you, I was like, oh yes, auntie, yes,
auntie,
auntie. I can definitely, I can understand what you're saying about. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm from there. But it was just great to hear. It was just great to hear that, and then obviously it goes into the first track, Reason to Smile. Which I thought was a great opening track. Obviously, shout out to Tiana Major on the vocals. I think it definitely meshed well with the instrumental. But that was a great sort of way to open the album. Obviously, and do you know, that song is a very uplifting song. Do you know what I mean? It's a very uplifting song, innit? Because it's just basically just talking about all the elements that make him smile. Like I mentioned before, his mum, his son, music. You know what I mean? These are all the things that make Kojey smile. Yeah. So obviously it was great to hear that.
Like when I'm hearing this album, like I can hear loads of the American or the Black American artists. You can hear, you can even, I think one of the record he's sampling Slum Village. I think that's one of them. I think it's Fubu. I think it's something in Slum Village. Payback is almost like a Busta Rhyme 90s type of vibes to it as well. So there is 100% loads of, you know, loads of those elements. And I remember hearing, I was like, hold on, how old is he? Then I realized he's our age, and then that's what I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense. Do you get me? Because most UK artists don't, like, the reference is probably more, most UK artists that are doing it, you know, at the top level are more contemporary of what's happening now. They don't sort of pull back like the way Little Sims does and the way Kojey does.
And I can hear that even, it's funny you mentioned that, you know, I can hear the To Pimp a Butterfly influence on this album. Or
that's not. There was one part where he was spitting, and I felt the vibe of Kendrick. I just felt
Kendrick,
the vibe. I can't remember which record it was, but I think he was going into those thoughtful introspection lyrics, and I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but the flow was quite reminiscent of some
Oh,
of
to Pop and
Kendrick's
Blackfire, yeah.
record. Yeah, so that's a good point, actually. Very true.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely gave me those type of vibes, man. Like it definitely did. And I think Kojey did that on purpose. And I know through I think reading a couple articles, Kendrick is definitely one of his influences.
Yeah, that's not surprising as well,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Kendrick
you
is
can
also
tell.
extremely introspective as well, and Kendrick
It
also
is.
likes to pull a lot from the past and also in the present as well. And I think that's what Kojey is doing quite a lot on this album as well. So I can
Yeah,
see
like
that.
I
I can
said,
see that influence.
celebrating blackness, black culture.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
for
All
sure.
things black. You know, like Kojey doesn't make that a secret here, you know, and
100%.
yeah, he definitely doesn't make it a secret, man. And obviously big up to Kojey for that. But I feel like this album, Kevin, is one of the best produced albums I've heard, yeah, from a UK artist in a long time. You know,
Okay.
this for me, in terms of the production, yeah, it's
Yeah.
up there with Simbi. You know what I'm saying? Say like just in terms of the production, like this is a very well-produced album. Like you can tell, and this is what I'm saying about Kojey. Like he is the definition of an artist.
Yeah, I
Like he
agree with you
takes
on
the
that. Yeah, yeah.
craft very seriously. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
He
yeah, I
takes the
agree with you on that.
craft very seriously, from his subject matter to his songwriting to the instrumentals behind these tracks to the full, like, bro, everything in it. Like Kojey is what you call an artist. Do you get what I mean? He's what
Yeah.
you call an artist. And yeah, like I'm this um I'm this gas for Kojey, because I feel like now, because I've seen a couple things online in it, of you know, people starting to recognize Kojey's talent, because yeah, he's been putting in the work for years.
For
And
sure.
again, even though I haven't been following him for a long time, I know that for a fact, because I was speaking to one guy that sort of knows Kojey through somebody else in it, and yeah, he was telling me that yeah, Kojey, like he's this has been a long time coming. Do you get what I mean? Similar. I don't mean
Okay.
to sort of compare them again, but similar to Little Sims.
Yeah,
Do
for
you get what I
sure.
mean? Like the journey is very similar. So yeah, I'm just glad that all of his hard work is coming out in this album. And again, to be fair, for me, it started coming out on Cashmere Tears.
Yeah.
That's where I saw that Kojey could actually do something epic in it. But yeah, this is for me, this is just a reflection of his talent. Kevin, like, are there any songs that you didn't particularly like?
Um,
Or is there anything about the album that, you know,
I,
doesn't really
I
stick?
didn't. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any part of this album that you didn't really care for, or is
I
there any
mean,
critique that you have?
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's a very good album. It's a very well produced album, and I think the subject matter is diverse, and he's just sort of canonizes. It's like an introspection of Kojey Radical. Do you get me? And he pulls a lot from growing up in London, and also growing up in a fatherless home as well. This was one of the topics as well, and also being black as well. A lot over, and I think, like I already said, Nappy was one of them. I think Payback was a record I didn't quite like as well. I thought the instrumentation with Nux. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, oh no, I like that record still, but
Oh,
yeah, no,
fair
go
enough.
on.
Yeah, I feel like the instrumentation was a little bit off as well. I did like
I hear
I did like the fact that he was using Pusher Man and he was referencing to Curtis Mayfield. I'm not exactly sure if that's what he was aiming to do. Obviously, because Curtis Mayfield got a record called Pusher Man off his phenomenal funk soul album as well. So I did quite like that as well. And he sort of like makes it into a different record, and they quite like that as well. But despite my sort of criticism, I still think it's a very well produced album, and it shows the diversity and the talent that Kojey Radical has. And yeah, like I'm interested to sort of see where he actually that's probably a question for the future. But from I'm glad that I got to listen to this album, and I feel like I want to listen to Cashmere Tears and listen to Cashmere Tears and then listen to this and then see what the sort of differences of what he sort of tweaked maybe or is it the
Yeah.
same? I just want to find out those little things. But other than that, it's a good album. I like it. It's a good album. Even though I got criticism of it, it's a good album. And I do agree with most of what you're saying, for sure.
Yeah, brought up a great point as well in regards to the versatility that
Yeah.
Kojey showed with his album. Because even there's one track, I think it's with it's the one featuring Ego Ella May.
Okay, yeah, anyway, that's the kind of love song
like,
record, isn't it?
Yeah, where he's like,
yeah.
I didn't even know that it was him. I think he's sort of
Yeah,
singing.
he's singing, yeah, 100%. I think that's
and I was like, whoa, like, wow, like to the point where again, I thought it was someone else. I didn't realize it was.
I thought it was like a different song.
Yeah,
and I had to check my phone when I was in the gym. I was
yeah.
like, oh shit, no, it's him singing. So I was
It's
like,
actually him, and it was executed very well. Like I was
100%.
like, wow, Kojey, I didn't even know you had this in your bag. Like, you know, like Kojey is definitely, you know, he's man. Like, I think this album will definitely make people sort of like realize that, yeah, he's one of the UK's finest talents for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely in that category. Like that's not
definitely
ill dispute. I feel like the unfortunate thing is if you do not capture a younger, but more importantly, a big audience, you could easily go to the wayside. And I think I think loads of rappers have suffered from it. I think loads of rappers had the benefit. Let's say, for example, when grime was big, rappers like they would not have had the same commercial success, but they still would have been revered. But because the game is now done changed, and also Kojey Radical is pulling from older sources. Like most of the records the source that he's pulling from. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we got artists like I don't know Adele that's mining for it, but it's very hard for him, especially, to reach those stature where he could then be put up amongst with, you know, the Daves and the Stormzy. But for people like us who like music, we can definitely see him being in that category. Do you get me? And you know, doing well. You know,
it's true. I just want to ask you, like, moving forward now, because Kojey, his album charted. I think it charted just outside the top 10. I think it charted at number 11. It just missed out.
Well, that's good. That's good for him.
Yeah. Which is very, very good, because obviously Kashmir Tears, I think didn't chart at all. If I stand corrected, obviously Kev, you can check that. You can fact check that and correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think Kashmir Tears charted. But obviously this time around, he almost got a top 10. He basically got a top 10. So moving forward from here, where do you think Kojey Radical fits in the UK scene, in the UK rap scene especially?
If I was him, I'll just go more contemporary. And I think I think the reason why, I think I've kind of understood why we revere artists like Kendrick Lamar. I think what would help Kojey Radical, I think, more to gain a bigger following, but it's to go more contemporary, but at the same time, don't lose his identity and don't lose some of the quality that he now has. Do you get me? And I think that's the balance that would ultimately help him, because I think The Reason to Smile is good. It did very well, but again, he was on a major label, so possibly some of the marketing and the push that he's had is the reason why he got that number 10. Even regardless, the quality is good, but it's still hard to sort of tell how much is it for his own sort of great artistry and for his own sort of fan base. Like I feel like is he in the red with the label, or is he in the green with the label? That I don't know.
Kev, you can say that. Remember Kashmir Tears, that was released on a major. That was released under the same label, and that didn't chart. So obviously between now and then, something must have happened. Do you get what I'm saying? Like whether he's connecting more with his demographic, or whether people now are starting to recognize his talent. Like I don't know where he is, but yeah, it was only 2 years ago that he released his first album on the major label, and that didn't chart at all. Yeah. And then 2/3 years later, he releases his second album, and that's basically a top 10.
Yeah.
The dots must be connecting somewhere. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I'm wondering. I mean, I've seen him on a lot of those BT commercial, those sports commercial that for BT. I've seen him. I think he did one for the Euros. No, I think it was Champions League final last year as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's quite good. It's quite good. I think before we have this conversation, I was thinking what AWOL are doing with Little Sims is something ridiculously crazy as well. So maybe he could benefit from that magic. But I feel like this is an album that should be spinning in loads of places, should should be around most of places. So let's see, let's see. I think he's delivered the product. The question is now, can it? And I think that's a good point. I think I don't see a song that is as contemporary that's going to sort of push him to the level where he wants to be. But the quality of the album is very good. You get me? And I think it's how music is. Like it's very hard if you're not making contemporary music, or at least if you're making music that's pulled from older sources and it's not contemporary, or it's not pushed into these, and it's not in trend, let's say like The Weeknd did with his new album, then it's very hard to get that,
I know, okay, but then more and more, again, I've mentioned it 1,000 times, but Little Sims has never had a single chart, chart on the UK single charts ever. She's never had one single chart on there. But her previous album, Simbi, bagged the top 5, right? And obviously she was nominated she won a Mobo, she won a Brit Award. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, again, I know that's a small sample size, but like it's possible, Kevin. It's possible.
Interesting. I think with Little Sims also doing quite well. She's doing other things as well that's giving her notoriety, isn't it? As well, like with the whole what's the name again? Top Boy as well. She's She's doing things. To be honest, let's see. I think the future will tell exactly what's happened, and hopefully we get to know what strategy that was used in it, and maybe that could spur artists to not necessarily just to mind the past, just to go to the past and then bring be influenced by the past, but just to make greater quality music. Really, I'm hoping that will spur it on. I think Little Sims has done that. Obviously, Dave. Ooh, that was odd. Obviously, Dave, did Gets had it last year as well, and then other artists 2 years ago, which was Kojey Radical. But I think Kano as well with his album as well.
Kano,
I'm just hoping that it just keeps on, that keeps the mojo going. Do you get me? So we get better music. Of course, J Hus, innit? There's so many other. We've got Cleo, so we've got so many other artists that I've not even mentioned. But I'm just hoping that it continues that, and then these artists get a real support, and then it continues, the labels then signing these artists and then giving them the bigger budget to work. And
man, like, for me, this is my favorite album of the year so far. I really enjoyed it. I probably only didn't really care for one song, and I think that song is I think War Outside is all right. I think
which record, sorry?
War Outside.
Okay, War Outside.
I think it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you didn't quite connect with it.
Yeah, I didn't quite connect with it, but it's okay. And then I think there was one, I think it was Talking as well, featuring Khalees and Tiana Major 9. I thought that record was, we could have done without this one, innit? I can't even lie to you. But it's not a dead record, but I just didn't see the point of it being there. But apart from that, man, I like every single track on this. And it's my favorite album of the year so far, and I think that it might end up on my best year list come the end of the year. I think it has a very good chance of doing that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this album. Kojey, shout out to you. Continue doing what you're doing. Man, salute to you. But yeah, like your closing thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, likewise. I mean, I'm not fully gripped and fully in love with the album, but I do recognize it's a very good album, and maybe in a couple of months' time it will change. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer. Fully getting into grasp of things. It depends, but I think there was some of the records that I think I mentioned that 1 or 2 record I didn't quite like as well. But overall, it's a very good album. It certainly is on my list. It certainly is on my list, though, at the back end of the list. I think it's highly likely to stay there. Because it's a good album. That's not without a shadow of doubt. Album, But obviously, I do think there will be a better quality album that I'm going to fully like the ones I said from last year. But other than that, it's a very good album, and shout out to Kojey for making this album. And I'm hoping that I'm hoping that it's only up from now. Do you get me? More
Yeah,
visibility
100%.
in terms of award shows. What's it called? What's it called? Newspapers, and that's all I can hope, because it helps everyone. It helps
It
everyone
does.
who likes quality music. So yeah.
That was our thoughts and opinions on Kojey's second studio album, Reason to Smile. Yeah, me and Kay both enjoyed this album for sure. Man, Kojey Radical, man. If you just come across this, if you somehow come across this review, obviously keep on doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? You're a very talented guy. And obviously much success and love to you. But another episode, another review. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do already. And we'll be back again real soon as always. Stay blessed. Peace.
Peace, people.